Hi there, thanks for joining me today. I'm doing a little more work on Mrs. Cratchit's prayer journal, and thank you, first of all, to everyone who's left such kind comments on the flip through for Louis, Oscar, and William. I say it every time, but oh my goodness, what a pleasure to make that book and to know Louis and Oscar. They were practically neighbors. So to turn that book into something useful, you saw, those of you who follow along saw, it was falling apart. And so when people say, oh, you cut apart books, that's terrible, that's awful. No, it's not. We give them new life. That book was headed for the blue box or the burn pile. So, and now it's going to be a beautiful keepsake for someone. Anyhow, so we're working on Mrs. Cratchit's. Fair warning, this is dull today. This is boring. I'm going to be the most exciting part of this of this entry today. It's going to be me. If I can find my ruler. Yeah, no, it's MIA. Come on. Well, we'll use this one then. I want my other one, but this one will do. I want one of my homemade decal edge. And the pages from the prayer book, the Book of Common Prayer. I'm still really, really in love with this. And I want to keep it nice and floppy. However, I still will be doing a sort of faux hidden hollowback spine. So I've got that ready, and it will be going inside here. So the signatures will be sewn onto this, but that's just paper. And I'm actually going to work on it and soften it up even more, just so that this stays really soft and floppy and pliable, but still strong. I really want this book to last a long time. If you follow me, you know my junk journals, although I like them to be artistic and even perhaps tell a story, I like them to be useful. I like a lot of blank pages, a lot of writing pages, so that the new owner can literally put their thoughts and dreams and hopes, or maybe recipes or memories in it, that it becomes their book. I just give them a little head start. So that is just yummy, and I am a happy artist. These are the original pages, and the hinge of the folios are in terrible condition, and part of me thought, what would Mrs. Cratchit do? Because there would have been no cellophane tape back then. And I think she would get out leftover paper and glue and paste. I mean, even our days of kindergarten, when we'd say, oh, eating glue, you know what? It was flour and water. You could eat it. And do you know what else? Bookmakers still use it. They still will make up a mixture. You can either use it raw, or they will cook it and make a paste of flour and water. It will hold your paper together, or even artwork. I follow an artist who restores masterpiece paintings, and he uses flour and water as paste, because if somewhere down the road in another 100 years it needs to be repaired again, the flour in the water will dissolve. It'll let go, and it will let you do the work you need to do. So what I plan on doing is, I figure we're going to cheat a little. Here's the inside of Signature 1, the first page. The number 1. I keep hearing Captain Picard's voice when I say number 1. Anyhow, so I think Mrs. Cratchit would get out paper, wrapping paper, maybe from when she purchased something at the grocer, and she would make some paste, and she would glue those hinges together, and I want them to look rough and whenever I am, let me move this. I just got this when we went down to Niagara-on-the-Lake. We popped over to the American side for about 2 or 3 hours, long enough to go to Olive Garden for lunch. We don't have Olive Garden anymore in Canada, so when we can go to Olive Garden, I love to go to Olive Garden. And I was able to find something on the menu that agreed with me. Anyhow, I found this We Are Memory Keepers pad, and I'm so happy with it. It's so hard to find resealable. What's the word I'm looking for? When you cut into it and it closes itself back up. Anyhow, you know what I mean. That have the full line. So many of them just have a dot, and I want the full line. And I have been using this, and it's still my favorite, and I'm not ready to give it up. I found this at a thrift store once, and sadly, I thought I was brilliant, and I'll clean it up. I'll use acetone, and that's how I lost some of my markings. This is my absolute favorite cutting mat in the whole world. And DeSaris still exists. It's a Canadian art supplier. And part of me thinks I should just find their website and order myself a new DeSaris cutting mat. Resealable? Is that the word? Anyhow, you can see 2 white lines here. I've done that myself because I find in situations like this, I like to be able to use the white lines, and that way it helps me know where to put when I'm resealing something. And I'm going to put it like this. And I purposefully, you might be thinking, Catherine, it doesn't go from end to end. I don't want it to. Think about it. It's going to have several, I do a 6-hole running stitch. There are going to be several places to hold it safely together. I'm going for the appearance. So the aesthetic of it. So hence when I say today will not be exciting, we have 7 of these to do. So not exciting. Oh, and of course I got off topic, and a squirrel didn't even run by. When I usually, got to clarify that. Usually when I reinforce a fold, I will do it on the inside so that the presentation page, because my journals open from right to left, I like the presentation side to still look like it's all in one piece. So, and I moved it, and that's the nice thing about having that white line. I can see where the center is, and it's easier. I think I had it this way. It's easier for me to make sure I've got it. So there we go. So this paper, if you're wondering, it's the stuffing paper from Amazon. Something I ordered from Amazon. And that will hold that really nicely. We're going to leave Mrs. William Carr in there because we're going to imagine maybe that's Mrs. Cratchit's granddaughter at some point who somehow moved to Canada. Now I need to decide whether this is safe or not. This page went in the way a book plate goes in. It was a loose page glued into that top page. So I'm going to leave it because I can always re-glue it back down. So we'll put these back together. Now I'm just going to check inside. I lost my number one. Number one. I lost it somewhere. But I know this is the first one because I can see Mrs. William Carr. I think some of them have more than one page out of the book. There were a few good pages. I love how nice and big the writing was. I imagine maybe she was, you know, very typical of us in our 50s. If you're like me in your 30s and you start needing reading glasses, you know, they just made that print nice and big so that everyone can read it. I thought I was going to put 9 signatures in this book, and I changed my mind, and I'm just putting 7 in. I really want it loosey-goosey. And like I said, I want these to look like she did it, so I'm not worried about whether they're even Steven. And I'm not worried that I'm not using scissors. 1, 2, 3. I need 3 more. I'm just tearing. And then we're using our imagination paste. And we won't eat this one. Did you ever eat paste at school? I must confess I did. I'm still here. I also ate the Play-Doh. Play-Doh wasn't too bad. It was a little salty. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. I might do a couple more. I do think there's a signature or two where I've popped in an extra folio from the text block. So just in case, I'll do a couple extra. If they don't get used for that, they'll get used for something else. And then I won't be running around the room going, where did I put that Amazon paper? Because you know I will. I hope you're all doing well. It's a really pretty day here where we are. that hailstorm we had the other day knocked just about all the beautiful leaves off Dougie Gilmore in our backyard. Maybe one more for good measure. So hubby is home today and he's dealing with leaves. Just mulches them up so they go back into the grass and into the ground. There we go. All right, I'll put this away and save it for the next time. Maybe we'll use it somewhere. I think I have a folio of this. I guess we'll come across it at some point. I'm feeling for a skinny one because I do want to put this Christmas card list in. It's the letter C. Could be for Christmas, could be for Cratchit. Now, where is the order for evening prayer? Let's put you aside. So this has been in the... It was in the press all night. It was in Jessie the Pressy. And so after I make sure all of these are nice and secure, my next step will be, I plan on sewing a lot of little lace and fabric pieces just here and there around the edge. Maybe I'll do a few of these, just get it done. And that will be the next thing I do, which is why I have my scrap bits here ready to go. I am determined I am not going to raid my bins of my nicely rolled paper thimbles. I'm truly going to use scraps for Mrs. Cratchit's book. Again, that she saved it from dresses that just finally wore out or belonged to someone she loved. You know the routine here. I have a Christmas book that's going through my head this morning. What do I want to do with it? I found it at Aberfoyle the day that I went with Nancy and Kelly. Did I find it or did Kelly find it? Or did Nancy find it? Those two are super sleuths. Whoa, did I feel inadequate. Their eye, oh boy, have they got an eagle eye for cool stuff. And like I told you before, wowee, I wouldn't want to be the car salesman selling either one of those to a car. I'm not going to make any money that month. They're so good. Anyhow, this book, you know what? I'll show it to you because it's so beautiful. This little book. I'm going to do something with it this year. I'm not sure. You know us, when we get together, we can turn a book that's this sad looking into something spectacular. You can still feel this is silk. And it's got holly on it. It's embossed fabric. And it actually is a Christmas book. It's actually called The Christmas Box, and it's not that book that we keep hearing about from that guy that wrote that book. So trying to look it up was so hard because there's no publishing date in it. It's just a book, a collection of stories. Some of them are nice. Oh, they've got Clark spelled the correct way. Some of them are nice. Some of them are now what we would consider socially inappropriate. So I'm going to be choosy what I save to put in it, but the artwork is just lovely. Anyhow, so all I could find was a window of age, and this might be the oldest book I've ever worked on. So this is going to be my challenge this year. This tiny little book will be my challenge. I had to find the publishers here. And I love it was edited by Mrs. Hall. Mrs. Hall. Not even an initial, Mrs. Hall. But that publisher wasn't in business for very long. Fortunately, at least it made history. It made the history books. It was only open from between 1826 and 1835, so it was only in business for 9 years. So we know that this book was printed sometime between 1826 and 1835. And it sure looks like it. The pages were gold along the edges at some point. But we're going to make it beautiful. And in our own wonderful grungy way. So that has been just going through my mind, but it hasn't distracted me from how beautiful I think Mrs. Cratchit's prayer book is going to be. I even have that one going through my head. I could do this, I could do this, what about this? All right, so you know what, from here on in, let's do one at a time because we're already at 22 minutes. I told you, not exciting today. Fair warning to anyone who's new. Sometimes I think I can be a little exciting, and then other times I know I just turn on my camera and we have a little visit, and hopefully you have some quiet time before you have to get on with your busy day. And we just share some time together. Maybe you're working away at your art desk, or having a cup of coffee, or a cup of tea, or well, it's November. No, it's kind of early for some people. Eggnog. I found some oat milk eggnog. So I got it. It's in a Tetra box. So I got it, and I'm going to try it in my coffee. I'm finding dairy is sometimes hard for me. So I'm trying to stick to vegetable sources of fat for my liver. The liver. So, in case anybody's wondering about this diet because of my liver disease that I have, it's not so much that I have to follow it. Like, for example, my husband has very well controlled type 2 diabetes. And so when he says, say it's a cookie, oh, I can't have that. He could have it. He shouldn't have it. Whereas for me, there are, especially for me, high-fat animal fats. I guess I can have them. What happens with me is within about 8 hours or so, I will be writhing in agony for about 30 minutes. Extremely, extremely painful, excruciatingly painful. I'm in a ball, rocking and doing prenatal breathing, and hoping that this one only lasts 30 minutes and that I don't end up at the ER for an IV Toradol. So that's why when I say I'm trying to find sources, because everyone needs fat in their diet. So when I jokingly say I'm slowly becoming a reluctant vegan, it's out of survival so that I don't have an attack. It's kind of like for most of my life I didn't drink at all. That's a whole other story of my life. But 2 times in my life I had a little too much. And first of all, I didn't like how it felt. And then the next morning, I hated how it felt. So much so that I knew for the rest of my life, I never want to get drunk. I don't like that feeling. And so I'm always amazed, like with young people, yeah, we're going to get drunk this weekend. Who would plan that when you know that? Because the ones that I know of, they're going to be sick the next day. Oh yes, they will be sick and feel disgusting and don't talk to me, I feel awful. And I think, oh, to do that to yourself on purpose. And that's the way I feel right now. So when I say, oh, I can't have this, I guess, yeah, you could say I shouldn't have such and such, like prime rib roast. Nope. I guess I could have it, but I shouldn't because I will pay a horrible price for it about 8 hours later. And plus, it's not good for my liver. But most people's liver can handle it. Mine cannot. So not too worried that it's too even Steven. Oh, I really like this. I do think Mrs. Cratchit would have found a way to reinforce her favorite pages out of this book. I chose this one for plenty because I figured Mrs. Cratchit would be praying for plenty, that they would need that they needed more, and but she would always be thankful for what they had and grateful for things that she had, and peace at home. I like that one. Alrighty, so let's move along. Number 4. There was some prayers for Christmas, so that's got to go in. And look, somebody's lunch. My husband thinks that's so disgusting. How can you like that? Because it's antique food. It's like this, it's so cool. That was somebody's tea, and maybe I'm drinking a cup of tea right now, and we're connecting through the eons. I don't know. I know I'm not the only one who thinks this way. I know I'm not the only one who gets just a little thrill with old things, knowing that first time when Dan and I went, I wanted a small little cabinet for our kitchen. And we did end up finding an awesome little pie safe that I just immediately, as soon as I saw it, I was in love with it. And I was practically hanging on to it saying, go get the person, go get the cash register person. I want a sold sign on this now. And I just, like, I kept my hand on it. And there actually were people going by saying, are you taking that? Yes, it's mine. Get away. Kind of thing. But Dan was looking at it in a puzzled look. And he said, that's going to be awfully expensive to restain. And I said, we're not restaining this. Are you kidding me? And again, you know, when you're learning about each other, those first stages of courting, what do you mean we're not restaining this? Oh, I love when you know every little crack and chip and stain was somebody's life. It's so cool. I guess that's why we like these kind of junk journals rather than the ones. And no dissing to the ones that get printed off of computers. I may be doing that someday when we don't have room, when we're in a condo and I don't have room. But for the time being, I'm very grateful for the room and space that we have so that I can do these ones. It just brings such pleasure. And then when it's a local book and I can find the owners, part of me hopes that they're somewhere smiling and pleased that their book is getting used again. Oh, here, I used a bag. I found an old paper bag. You can see the top of it there. So I just cut one side and tore the other side and put that in. So that's done. Where are we? Oh, we're at 31 minutes. How many did we get through? Oh, I didn't put the front page on that one. These pages could get turned around. I'm not necessarily done yet. And they will get laces and fabrics put on them. So we got 4 done. Not bad. So I have a few more to do after we say goodbye. Thanks for joining. And there's the ruler I was looking for. And we ended up using the blue one and we were fine. So go figure. I wonder how many of you saw the clear one there and kept yelling at your screen. Have a great rest of your day. If you're still here after all that, I hope you'll take a second and click like, because YouTube likes me better if you click like. And YouTube likes me even better if you even just say hi. It honestly helps with the algorithms and it helps pay for my glue. So even if you turn on my video, go take a shower, come back and it's over with, just click like. Because YouTube doesn't know you went and had a shower. All the little secrets I'm giving away. Have a great day. I hope you're safe and sound and that your loved ones are too. And we'll get together soon. And we'll hopefully get Mrs. Cratchit's prayer book done soon. I'd like to have it done by the end of this weekend. All right. We'll talk soon.